Yeah, so best game I've seen since 2016. Maybe Luka beating the Suns game 7. I don't know. MJ's 63, 66 against Bird and them. I don't know. Never seen nothing like this. The Boston Celtics lose to the. I'm old enough to remember when the Celtics were good. Golden State Warriors. This is 132, 126 in OT. Curry delivers in the fourth in overtime. You know, Jaylen Brown, calm 28. Derek White, the Derek White.
He's on fire.
Better than Trae Young, calm 30.
30?
Yeah, a big 30.
What happened, bro?
Yeah. And then you know the big drop of the NBA, right? You know the big drop.
Oh yeah, Jason Tatum, he next up. That's Kobe.
Only 19.
Can't even drink it.
Can't even drink. He dropped a big. What is that? 15? Oh God.
He's a two-way player, man.
2 ways.
Affecting the game in other areas.
You get 2-way opponent shooting like that.
Shit. 7 assists, 8 boards.
0 turnovers. Don't forget that. Yeah. And the 2 steals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he needed to play the other way because they lost to Steph Curry in the game. No Draymond.
He tried, but he tweaked his ankle. So.
Damn.
Yeah, I hear it. Steph dropped 33, a monster. If I'm not mistaken, he had like 0 points going into the third. Is that what they said?
Really?
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Going into the 30 at 0, scored 2 points.
Can you check that? You can check that right now, bro. Like I'll guide you on the screen to check it right now.
Curry.
Klay Thompson 24. I mean, great game. Honestly, I think he had Steph had a lot. Is it play-by-play or is it charts?
No, right. Box score. Go to box score.
And then go down to his...
No, you're up. Go up
there.
Right there. All periods. Change that.
You really want me to do this? No, on a serious note, though, Steph dropped, what is this, 7?
Checking OT. Yo.
Relax. Steph dropped 7 in OT. I know he went crazy in the fourth, too. In the fourth quarter, he had 13. So that's 20 right there. And then in the third quarter, he had, what is this? A whopping, 3? So he had 23 in the second half. If I do the second half for Jason Tatum, 6.
6. You're so nasty, bro.
But that's not the big story right there. Curry does have a monster game. Yeah, Curry does have a monster game. So then on the inside, the TNT NBA boys, they have a conversation. I just want to point out before we get to going, Kenny's hair. Old men, let it go, please.
Yeah, it's just look, man. I'm. You can bid my shit all day. It's not that hard to make fun of me, but nah.
But so I haven't yet to see the beginning part of that clip, but apparently they just had another GOAT conversation, and I think somebody, Ernie, Shaq tried to slide him in. Pause. And so with that being said, Kenny had to interject and say that Steph Curry wasn't in the GOAT conversation, and let it be known that he won't be in the GOAT conversation. There's a large gap. Damo, how do you feel about this?
I mean, me personally, I don't think I haven't been in a conversation yet, but I do see it as being a possibility. You know, if he continues to play at this level for another 5-6 years, then he'll be there. But right now, no. But I'm with Kenny. Kareem, LeBron, and Mike are the only 3 players that's in the GOAT conversation because typically it's 1, 2, 3 in that order. After that, I'm with him. You start grasping at straws for the greatest player of all time. He didn't even want to put Kobe there, which that's just. If you don't have Kobe above Mike, why is he in the conversation?
Okay. Be so, Sage. I mean, Souls and Sage.
I personally agree with Kenny as well. The only pushback I would give for him would be I think he just worded it weird, but he said something along the lines of like Curry's not the best shooter. I think Curry's the best shooter of all time. But within that GOAT conversation, I do think after the 3, and for some people after the 2, but I'm not mad with people saying 3. After the 3, like people do start reaching in terms of that conversation about who is the GOAT. Like, you would have to make some very, very weak arguments to say Steph Curry's the GOAT. There might be an argument there, but it would be weak as fuck. And that's the reach that he's talking about. I talked about on my stream as well. Like, Kobe has an argument too. And they was giving me the pushback. That's what I'm talking about. That's the reach. That Kenny's talking about. As far as Curry though, I personally don't think he'll ever be in that conversation, even if he has 5-6 years left, because that would, unless you're telling me that's better longevity than LeBron, then if the selling point for Steph Curry in the GOAT conversation is longevity, and there is a dude who has better longevity, then the conversation is null and void to me. Like, if everyone in this room unanimously agrees that LeBron's longevity is better, what the fuck is the argument? There is no argument. So for me, for you to be in the GOAT conversation, for you to be in any debate, you have to have an argument for yourself. I just don't see what that is for Stephen Curry, even 5-6 years later, if he keeps this up.
And Chad, don't worry, we'll get that Q&A link.
I'm about to say, definitely Q&A this one. Do you guys hear my fan real quick?
Nah, you good, especially for you Kobeers. Love to see that one. But go ahead, Paige.
I'll say this. The top 10 to me has always been something to where you can argue in a way they have an argument to being the greatest player of all time. However, if we're taking a test and you have the 10 smartest people in the room and we're arguing, okay, who's the actual smartest person? And there's one person there's two people that have 100%. One person got a 99, and the other person has 89. And some person from the outside in is like, oh yeah, bro with the 89 probably the smartest in here. Get your dumb ass out my face. At the end of the day, unfortunately, there's some niggas that are just built different. And I'm sorry, to be honest, with Kareem, I don't even think it's him. I think it's a two-man conversation in terms of the GOAT discussion. LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Now, where do you reside? Quite literally depends on what you value in the sport. That's how close that conversation is. And when it goes to like arguing Tim Duncan's the GOAT, Kareem's the GOAT, Curry's the GOAT, Kobe's the GOAT, all that stuff, we're playing kind of coy just to be. I hate this culture in sports where it's like people want to sound cool by bringing up obviously like false or like exiled people in conversations. So like if I'm like, who's the best point guard in the game right now? Someone brings up Luka, someone brings up Curry, hell, someone brings up Reese. If I come up in this bitch talking about some shit, man, I don't know. I'm just saying that boy Cade Cunningham bad. All right, bro. Like I guess Cade Cunningham can score, cool, but like, dog, we're talking about the actual number one, bro. Get out of my face with that, bro. Same thing if we were to go with the all-time debate with point guard. So you don't think this is a pod full of creators? If it's Magic Johnson, Stephen Curry, and someone pulls up, I'm just saying Kyrie Irving a bad boy. All right, dog. Like stop, bro. At the end of the day, I don't think Kenny was a hater as nearly as much as Warrior fans saying was. The only argument is if you misinterpret what he said, but if you pay attention to the clip and run it back, he actually fixes his sentence where he was like, he's not the greatest shooter. Then he goes on to say he's not just the greatest shooter. So he does think he is the greatest shooter. However, Kenny back then in like 2020, he does have a nasty man's take of saying that Dame might have been a better shooter. That was crazy. So maybe they just already don't like him, but nah, y'all gotta stop trying to include everyone in every conversation. I love Stephen Curry. I don't think the door's shut, unlike some people. Because hey, if he fucking wins 2 rings, wallahi, I'd give him an argument for souls right now. Curry's probably in my top 10. His GOAT argument is greatest peak of all time plus longevity. You can argue greatest offensive seasons you ever seen, and then longevity. Merge the two. There you go. Is it nasty? Yes, and that's why he's not in the conversation.
Yeah, I'm tired of y'all wanting to be inclusionary in all these conversations, all of them. This is the greatest player of all time. Simple as that. And it really should be one. And if we expand that convo, it should be real strict as to who the fuck gets in and why the fuck they get in. I'm going to keep it pretty short and simple. He can't get in because he's not elite defensively. Never has, never will be, and never was. Like, it just is what it is. There's 2 sides in basketball. We're talking about basketball. I don't think that there's a point, and I talked about this earlier in the space this week. I don't think that there's a point in basketball in which the other side, or playing one side, will so far supersede everything that we start discounting guys who were elite on both ends. And I'm talking about elite, like on the top upper echelon. And I think a lot of people would recognize that, hey, Michael Jordan was elite on both ends. You can have your criticisms about who was the better defender on his team, when he played defense, whatever the case may be. But a lot of people would say Michael Jordan was elite defensively. He was elite offensively. You could say LeBron James was elite defensively and elite offensively. You can have the conversation about when. You can have conversations about how long he was elite for, whatever the case may be on one end of the ball. But that's the stratosphere that we're talking about. Same thing with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't think there's a guy, unless they come out the gate averaging 99 points and 99 assists, and it's just regular to below average on defense, can be in that conversation. It just, to me, it just doesn't happen. It really just does not happen.
That's what I was about to say, just to counter your point, is like I disagree with you with that point, but it would really have to be like a high bar. So I don't know, some dude averaging 40 and 20 out the gate for 15 years, won 8 rings, and things of that nature. I don't think it's realistically possible to get to that point, but I will say, like, I want to say just not being elite defensively counts you out of the GOAT conversation, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree, but it'd be, I don't want to say impractical, because you never know, but I say Curry would have to your point, Omar, but like I guess technically still disagreeing. Curry would have to dwarf offense. Like, my God, for me to consider him number one, he would either just ring count it the fuck up to where it's like, all right, well, shit, it don't matter. A one-way player, if you even want to say he's ass defensively. The nigga got 10 rings, wallahi, but that's unrealistic. 2, he would have to show me offensive peaks that, like, again, you could debate it already at times, but he would have to do it consistently that nobody else is even rivaled. And it's just like, it's way too much for me to consider that. So I don't think Curry will ever probably be seen as number one. And that's not an insult. Now, greatest point guard, shit, depending on who you ask, it's probably in that conversation right now. And that's why I'm confused on the Kenny disrespect, because greatest point guard of all time features Magic Johnson, who's in everybody's top 10. And there's some people that says Curry's better than him. So therefore, a lot of people think he's in the top 10 greatest players of all time. Just damn. But people take offense to these things. I do want
to touch on that point too, because Ernie said, "Oh, best point guard of all time," so he's not in the best player of all time conversation. No, the best power forward of all time is not in that conversation. Let's be real about that. Like, he's just not. Whoever he is to you, Tim Duncan, Dirk, KG, Charles Barkley, Giannis for the younger kids, they're not in the greatest of all time conversation, and that's A-okay. We're just not giving it out to any and everybody because they're they're the best at their position, so now we have them in there. And then also, I'll concede this to those that think this: Steph can be the greatest offensive player of all time to you. That's fine. Do you have the greatest defensive player of all time in the GOAT conversation?
That would be good.
What's your argument for Steph Curry being in the GOAT conversation? I think that bitch is slim. I think that conversation is slim as fuck. I just got to know, what's your argument for it?
Ironically enough, the dude who is like that great defensively actually does have an argument, greatest winner. But
probably be Tim or King. Me, I think one of them too.
You can't even get it out. Be so
or Bill.
Yeah, that's what he was trying to say.
I thought you were done.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
no, I'm saying that's what he was trying to say was Bill Russell, but you went with somebody else that is the greatest defender of all time.
He went with 2 different names.
2 names, different names. It sound like fuck Bill Russell. I mean,
I think Curry honestly gets cooked in these discussions because even if you want to say he is better offensively than Jordan or LeBron, the gap isn't wide enough, and you could legitimately make an argument that he's not even better than those two. And then you look at the other side of the ball, and it's not even a conversation. That's where he gets cooked, to be honest with you. So, and they got the accolades to back it up too. So if it's a winning conversation, the other 2 have won just as much as him. There really just isn't a conversation for Steph, which is fine. It's just, goddamn, I don't know.
I might even push the agenda that he might be the greatest point guard. I might truly, when he's all said and done, I might push the agenda because there's a longevity diff there. But yeah, in terms of being the actual GOAT, I guess the jury's still out. But as of this moment, this day, you're arguing for a player with equal rings to LeBron James. Well, LeBron having seasons that you could argue were just straight up better on the offensive end. And if you don't agree with that, there's a whole lot of defensive diff, let alone LeBron beating Curry and the narratives around there. So if we have to really do this, don't revise history and understand why Curry, I guess, is 3-1, but we know how we feel about some of those rings. So ultimately to me, again, we're just including names that I guess are good people, great players, all-time players, top 10 players. But my God, we're talking about numero uno. Please stop bringing in 9 names for one conversation. Like, dog, I guarantee you that we don't have 9 people in here.
I put the StreamYard link down there just in case somebody wanted to come up and
what is he against?
Try to make the Curry debate or try to make even the Kobe debate or whatever the case may be. Because I think all of us consensusly agree that it's 3. Some might even just say 2, but the names are fairly consistent. And I also want to make it clear, the bar is set extremely high. So if you've ever been thinking about how can someone break into this, how can how any of those things happen, I'll let you know. So nobody in the league right now can get into the GOAT conversation to me. Simple.
We either A, too early, or B,
no, I don't even it ain't too early to me. It's too late. That bitch gets set year 1, year 2 at the latest. That bitch gets set year 1, year 2 at the latest.
I don't know about that. I might disagree with that because Luka in year 1 and 2, shit. And I know I do my troll, but by that, year 1 and 2, Luka's kind of crazy. So
what defense was he playing? Year 1 or year 2?
Oh, you're talking about defense. Oh, you're talking about number 1. Okay,
number 1. Yeah. Let me not just say, because he could do all this other stuff. Y'all know I love Luka. Year 1, year 2, year 1. I understood what level defender Luka was going to be. I think everybody did. At that point, you're out of it. Unless he has some transformational, sell his soul type of shit, it's done.
Yeah, it depends how you view GOAT arguments at that point. Like for your criteria, you're correct. For me, I value peak. So I won't necessarily exile anybody, but for that argument, no, for sure. If that's your criteria, you have to enter the league. Your entire career has to be damn near flawless and shit. Oh yeah, no.
But the reason why I say that too is because part of the conversation is about longevity now. LeBron has put it to where it's about longevity. So not only is it peak, it's longevity and peak. I think Mike will be the only one who doesn't have. Well, Mike will be the only one who doesn't have like the peak and the longevity because LeBron's pushing longevity to new standards. Right. But we're having different conversations now. So yes, year 1, I know what Luke was going to be, and let's get it. His peak would have to be so astronomical offensively that we just mitigate, or you just ignore all the defensive, feats that he falls by. It just won't work. It just won't work. So that to me, after 1, 2, I see somebody trying to be funny in the chat. Asura's coming, not averaging 10 points. Nope.
I don't know if Sage asked this, but and I also want to just get a more definitive answer from you. I understand 90 points and 90 assists, okay. But what is that line for you, dead ass, of like, okay, this is outweighing great defense?
I would have to know what both sides look like. Somebody said Victor Wembanyama. Come on, dog.
Let's say on defense, you're I don't even know. DeMar DeRozan defensively.
I think you would have to legitimately put the bar, because this is the conversation we're having. I think you would legitimately have to put the bar at Curry level now defense, probably, or like peak Curry level defense, and then lay out the offensive metrics.
Just touching on something you said earlier, how no one in the league right now fits the criteria. Not gonna lie, that nigga Victor fits the criteria. So far in year 1, if we're talking, if it's strictly about being great on both sides of the basketball, that motherfucker is, if he's not leading the NBA in blocks, he's top 3, top 5, and he's definitely leading all rookies by a landslide in blocks. He's a phenomenal defender, not just with blocking shots, but just his ability to dominate defensively. And the nigga's a hooper on the offensive end. Might not be the most efficient guy, but I mean, hey, we're talking about a goddamn bucket. A lot of niggas that weren't that efficient. Yeah, at 19, like starting out the gate, great. He honestly, realistically has a chance.
And if you, hey, I'm shook with mine, dog. I don't know, but somebody.
think he got a chance at least. I'm not saying he's actually going to fulfill it. A chance?
I'm looking at year one, and again, this is the nasty.
I'll pull up the metrics for everybody.
Wait,
This
year
is the nasty levels that everybody set. Year one, Kareem is 29, 52 from the field, 15 boards, 4 assists. They didn't count blocks back then, but I think it's safe to say he was at the 3 blocks.
But Vic is 19. That's what I've been saying on the pod
And
for a while.
rookie LeBron is at
Kareem
20
was 22.
points.
Yeah, I get that. I get that about what's it called? About what'd you say? About 19. I get the age thing. Yeah, I hear that. LeBron too. Even with LeBron 2, year one. Monster.
20, if we round up 21, and right now Vic is at 19 and 11 of what you call it, a 19-11 double with a definitely better defense than LeBron.
Hope I don't dox myself here.
By far.
I hear you.
Like not even a question in his rookie year. So why is LeBron eligible for that in year one and so far Victor isn't? What's the difference?
I'm
numbers for y'all, by the way.
I'm telling you, I don't see it. Different responsibilities. I just have a higher criteria. Plus, I've seen LeBron's career, so I'm saying Vic would have to fulfill this. If this is the track he's on, slightly better than LeBron from like a points perspective, and then of course like block shots defensively, he would still have to last LeBron. I don't see LeBron lasting that long. Y'all know how I feel about big men. Pause. That was crazy.
Vic. He said LeBron not lasting that long.
No. I'm saying I saw LeBron last this long. You know how I feel about big men. Pause. I don't think Vic will last this long.
I know. You said LeBron. It's cool. Okay. It's cool. I got what you're saying.
That's fine. Yeah. If you see him going, this is all pause. If you see him going the distance like that, Damo, then that's fine. I just don't think he'll put up 20 years. And not saying 20 years is necessarily the end all be all, but damn, 20 years is looking like the end all be all.
At an elite level, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what
Send
you mean.